thought we were pretty cool at the time. Little, and then every night you'd see these cool black helicopters flying over, and I'd go to my boss. I'm like, hey, boss, why don't we have those little birds around? Why are we in thin-skinned Humvees right now? Why are we in why aren't we flying to these targets? Those little birds look really cool. They're like, well, yeah, you don't get those assets here. So that's when I started learning a little more about the big leagues and the different assets that came with different units. And so I had screened for my previous command before my second deployment. So I got word on the Iraqi deployment that I'd got picked up to go to training to see if I could make it into Dam Neck.
Okay. So for those that are listening that don't know what Dam Neck is, that's where SEAL Team 6 Development Group is at.
So I've heard. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. You better be careful, where these admirals might come after you.
They will.
So Team 6 pops on your radar because all the assets, all the cool toys that they get, you're seeing that.
And all the guys I knew at 5, right? Some of the bigger studs that I knew would like disappear, and then they went off to go see if they could screen. And so I'm like, all right, well, if I'm here, I need to try this. And so.
So you got word that you got accepted to
Yeah, I'd screened before the second deployment, and then I got word, 6-9 months later, that I'd been picked up. I barely passed my PT test.
Are you serious?
Bro, we were doing a SR in Camp Pendleton, and literally they called us 2 days prior, and they're like, hey, your screening test is like tomorrow morning. I've been eating MREs, face painted, living under a tree for like 3 days, and literally 3 other dudes got pulled out of the field, drove down to San Diego, and the next morning we had our PT test.
Holy shit.
And I barely passed my push-ups.
Right. Right on.
Yeah, a little worried about that. Like, all right, are they even gonna, they even gonna pick me up because I was a slip knot and barely passed my push-ups? I got picked up and then I made sure my push-ups were good you take a screening test day 1 of training. They show up and give you a hard one. So
right on.
I had to make sure I was ready for that.
So you pass the screen test, you get in there. Let's talk about showing up for training. How was that?
Pretty cool. Different, right? Right. You go to BUDS. I'd read a whole bunch about BUDS. I hadn't read much about this. I didn't know much about this. I knew BUDS was more of a, hey, don't quit. Check. I don't have that word in my vocabulary. Now it's okay. How can you, right? It's a selection and training, probably more selection than training, right? So they want to know you have it or you don't. And day 1, it's shotgun blast to the face. And then it's, I thought getting into that unit was twice as hard as BUDS.
Really?
Right? BUDS was simple enough where it was like, you get the deal, right? You run that way, don't quit. Okay, check, I got that. This selection was, okay, how good are you at what we've trained you to do, and can you make really good decisions under stress and pressure, and can you do that, right? It's not just about just quitting anymore.
Yeah.
So
you found that to be a lot harder.
I loved it. It was much harder, right? Because now the selection process in which they are judging you on has nothing to do with you just didn't quit. Now it's, okay, how good are you at the game? Right? BUDS was don't quit. We'll train you some basics. Now you've been a SEAL for a handful of years. Now we want to put you to the test of what you know, and we're going to put high expectations on you. And then if you don't cut it, you're out. So I loved it, but it was very demanding.
Can you say how many people you started with? Do you know?
I don't remember the exact number. I would say rough numbers, 50% washed out.
50% washed out.
And no disrespect, no, hey, you're an asshole, you don't cut it here. It's like, hey, you just don't cut it here. Go back to a team. Depending on what you failed out for, you may have a chance to kind of reapply and screen again, or you just go back and that's it.
Gotcha.
50%-ish.
So when you say it's mostly selection, a little bit of training, so I mean, you have a baseline when you show up there that they have an expectation from the baseline that they, so are you not learning in the training pipeline?
You are, and they will teach you something new every single day. Every single day you're getting something new, and it's amazing every single day. And if you're the guy who didn't pick it up the day prior, the next day okay, Now they stack something new on top of you and you weren't getting what they got yesterday. Okay, the next day is something more. And if you're, next thing you know, you got 3 of these things stacked up above you and you're not keeping up, you're not going to last too long.
So what did you find to be the hardest part of Green Team? For those who don't know, Green Team is it's the training regimen to get into development group.
I think it's an individual operator's ability to identify a situation, right? It could be an elephant, a big elephant, and be able to be like, okay, I'm going to eat that elephant one bite at a time. I'm going to prioritize those bites smartly, and I'm going to start eating, right? And the hardest part of training was that they were constantly putting big elephants in front of you, stressing you out, wanting to see how you dealt with that size of that challenge, the complexity of that challenge. Did you quit because the elephant's too big? Or did you say, okay, check, I'll eat that elephant. What size bite-sized piece can I take? I'm going to start prioritizing those bites and start eating.
Gotcha.
The tactics were what they were. They're constantly throwing something new at you. If you're into it and like that type of stuff, it's the best training you'll ever get. Every single day you're learning something new and getting faster and better and better. And if guys weren't cutting it, they were gone.